Welcome to the Teacher Wellbeing webinar. I'm Anna Perkey, and
I'm Janice Hill.
And we are both University of Utah graduate students in the school psychology program. We also work as burst consultants in Granite School District through the UTech Lab, which is the University of Utah Technology and Training, Education, and Consultation Lab with Dr. Fisher and other faculty in various departments in the College of Education. So we wanted to start, since we're talking about well-being, we wanted to take a moment at the beginning of our presentation to take a mindful moment. Many of us are just coming in from possibly the end of your school day, you've had a busy day, and we just want to take a moment to kind of decompress and get ready to enjoy the rest of the webinar, because this is for you. We're here for teachers to support you, and these are just some strategies. This is just one strategy that you might use. So really quickly, before we begin, start by putting your hands in your lap or loosely at your sides. Place your feet flat on the floor. And just take a couple of deep breaths. All right, hopefully that kind of helps give you some time to feel prepared for the rest of the webinar, and we'll go ahead and get into the content now.
Yeah, so to start, we are going to go over the objectives of the webinar. So at the end of this presentation, you'll be able to define and understand the value of well-being. Also define and learn more about vicarious trauma and compassion fatigue and the impact on your personal well-being. Also, you're going to be able to identify strategies for improving and maintaining well-being, and also to identify resources to support and increase your well-being. So to start, we want to talk a little bit about what is well-being. So in the research and also in general, like a lot of people talk about well-being in many different ways. So the message that we want to share, it's the researchers that talks about well-being as one big topic that represents a lot of things or a few areas in your life. So well-being includes the presence of positive emotions and moods. The part that I like a lot is also the absence of negative emotions, satisfaction with life, fulfillment, and positive functioning. So well-being in regards of educators. So for educator, well-being demonstrates more feelings of work satisfaction and a capability to manage stress really. So when we have a strong well-being and when we have when we are in a good stage, we can have a better job satisfaction. And that's one of the reasons why we decided on this topic to share with you guys today.
So we want to talk a little bit about your role as teachers, because we know that it's a very big and sometimes demanding role, but it's also, you know, you came into this profession because you wanted to help students and make a difference in their education and their outcomes after they work with you and move on to the next stage. So let me just pull up a couple of these things. So first of all, like I said, we feel like most teachers come to the profession because it's rewarding, but also challenging. But some of those challenges can contribute to teachers developing a high level of stress. So for example, class sizes are growing, having to make last minute changes to curriculum, or from year to year, even having to learn a new curriculum, annual standardized testing, and all of the pieces that go along with preparing students for those things and helping them feel ready to take those tests. Additionally, some students might have some challenging behavior, and just general classroom management can be difficult on certain days, and that can take away from that overall goal of a teacher to spend their time providing instruction to students. So that's stressful because you're trying to manage student behavior, but also get through the content that you're supposed to get through that day and stay on track. maybe having a lack of resources, not only just in regards to providing resources to help your students learn, but also maybe lacking resources of personnel to come in and help and provide support in your classroom as well. Negative interactions with parents and colleagues. So that could even just be a parent is upset with something that's going on in the classroom. And despite your best efforts, you're still having some negative interactions. Or maybe you don't have some great relationships with some of your colleagues, and that can be really, really stressful, because as teachers, you often rely on your colleagues as support, and you rely on them to help you make sure that you're covering the content that you need to, and to bounce off ideas about how you might approach things in the classroom. So as you can tell, and as you already know, your role is really important, and there's a lot of things that you deal with on a daily basis. Which goes to our next topic, is teacher and student relationships. So for many students, the teacher that they go and see each day of school may be that one reinforcing and secure adult that they have to talk to and to relate to. So teachers can be a big support for students. If they don't have that support at home, or they don't have enough support at home, they come to school and they have a teacher to talk to. So while that is, really positive for teachers to have those kinds of relationships with students and to feel like they have a positive relationship with a student, teachers come to know some of the very difficult experiences that their students face. So that can include living in poverty, experiencing different kinds of trauma, having parents going through a divorce, or perhaps there's involvement with DCFS and investigations going on, or there's health challenges with the student or with parents or other family members that they're bringing to school with them. And because you are that reinforcing and secure person that they see each day, they're going to be talking about those things with you, and that can be really hard to hear. And we're not always prepared to hear those things, no matter how many times you might hear about some really difficult situations that your students are going through. But research has shown that positive student and teacher relationships help protect against those negative impacts of stress for teachers. But there's also other positive effects for students as well. So for, like we said, those students may be having you as that resource gives them someone to come and talk to at school, and that can be really helpful for students. Now we want to talk about why well-being is important. Why is teacher well-being so important, and what kind of effects can that have? So first of all, let's talk about that piece, the stressful piece that we talked about a couple slides ago. Research has shown that nearly half of all K-12 teachers are reporting high job-related stress. So that's a lot of teachers that are experiencing stress. And within that group, 50% of teachers may leave the profession within 5 years. So in many teachers, they join the profession with some really positive feelings about what they're going to be able to do and the impact they're able to have. But these high stressors can impact their positive outlook on what they're able to do and start to weigh on them. And that can cause teachers to feel like maybe their teaching isn't where they're supposed to be, and they may end up leaving the profession. And we don't want that to happen, because we need our teachers, and they're very valuable, which is also part of why teacher well-being is valuable, because we need our teachers to provide instruction to our students. So not only does poor well-being negatively impact teachers, but it also has a negative impact on students. Some research has already shown that there's links between teachers with higher well-being or increased well-being and positive student outcomes. So that can include having better academic outcomes, but also more positive behaviors in the classroom and increased, teacher and student relationships. But some of those negative impacts that poor well-being can result in is students that may be engaging in more disruptive behaviors, or there's less motivated to follow along with instructions and directions in the classroom, and just in general, poor academic performance. So it's really important, not only for you to take care of your well-being, but also for the students, because teachers that are feeling stressed may not be implementing their interventions as effectively as possible in the classroom. They may not be providing that highly effective instruction that's necessary for students to learn and grow and develop.